everybody, welcome to Jake Showcase. I do videos on Wednesdays. Today I'm going to describe to you something called the Enneagram. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the different types of personalities, give you an example, and act it out a bit. So basically the Enneagram is an old Sufi thing to say to people's different personality types. And it has them listed off into 9 different numbers. Now it gets real complicated and has lots of things called wings, but we're just going to talk about the 9 basic personality types. Now this is my own drawing here, just to give you an idea of what the symbol looks like, right? And basically the ones up the top, your 1, 9, and 8 are considered gut, right? These ones, 7, 6, and 5 are considered people who think from their head, and 2, 3, and 4 are considered hurt people. All right. So that's the basics of the Enneagram, and I just thought I'd show you a picture of what it looks like. Now we'll get into each one individually. Okay, so type number 1 is called the Perfectionist. Perfectionists always like to do things just right? A lot of times they can scold people because they want everything to be done just particularly right. They're always trying to be perfect. They can be very critical on themselves because they want to be perfect themselves. They want to be seen as hardworking. They want to be seen as diligent, honest, reliable. The perfectionists, it's sort of as the term says, people who are uptight and perfect all the time, everything has got to be just so. That is a perfectionist, right? So 2 examples of women who are perfectionists is Hillary Clinton and Julie Andrews, and 2 examples of men who are perfectionists is Nelson Mandela and Pope John Paul II. Okay, so that's type number 1, the perfectionist. Okay, so type number 2 is called the helper. So the helper, they're really helpful, as it says, right? So basically, they always want to make you feel good. They always put their talents and skills to use for other people. They're always pitching in. They're always listening. They're always complimenting people, right? They're trying to help out. They're like fairy godmothers or fairy godfathers, trying to think of other people's needs. One of the terms is the power behind the throne. They enjoy being the power behind the throne, so that they're really, really nice people, trying to help out, trying to make your life better. That's called the helper. So 2 examples of women who are helpers is Princess Diana is one example of a woman, and another one is going to be Princess Diana and Yoko Ono. And 2 examples of a guy is Richard Simmons and Jesus Christ. So it's just the generous, helpful people who are always thinking of others, always there to lend an ear. They love it, and people love them because of it. Okay, so type number 3 is called the achiever or the performer. So they're very success-oriented. They want to be the best. They're always showing off, right? They're rising to the top. As soon as they get one goal done, they're on to the next. They want to be the best in everything they do. And they tend to be like show-offs, right? Like they're performing all the time. And so a lot of times you'll see a lot of movie stars and people like that being in this sort of category of a personality. So they're people who just want to keep going and going and going, always reaching the goal, always being the best, always striving for the top, right? And that's what they're all about. Okay, so 2 examples of women who are that is Cindy Crawford and Demi Moore. And 2 examples of men who are perfectionists or achievers would be Elvis Presley and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So those guys, they're always the best, and they always got to keep going for the top. So they are the performer and achievers. So type number 4 is called the artist. So the artist is the type of person who feels really different, right? They feel things really deeply. They're the typical sort of artist, but a lot of it has to do with their emotions, that they don't feel like normal. They look for different experiences. They hate the regular, old, everyday sort of thing. And they're always looking at different ways of expressing their emotions, to expressing their differences. And sometimes they get really depressed, and they kind of go inward when things aren't going their way or when they're remembering something. So they're very deeply feeling people, and they're also very expressive. Some of the best artists that you know are basically artists. They truly are artists as a personality type, not just physically. And those types of people are like Bob Dylan, Michael Jackson for guys, and Judy Collins and Judy Garland for women. So the expressive, deeply feeling artist is type number 4. Okay, so number 5 is the thinker. The thinkers are the real kind of smart people. They're not really emotional. They're usually doing research, right? They think that knowledge is power, right? So they're never really like in front of the spotlight. They always kind of sort of like to go camouflage. They like to think about things, cross all their T's, dot all their I's. They don't take any action until they know that it's the right answer. So these tend to be like the real smart people, in libraries or research labs, and they're really important, but they're not really expressive, and sometimes they can be hard to make friends with because they like to keep to themselves, right? Some examples of women who are thinkers would be Agatha Christie, and another example of it is Amelia Earhart, and then 2 examples of guys is John Rockefeller and Al Pacino. So a lot of times people who are, that's what a thinker is that they're kind of like the slow, silent type. But they're usually right, because when they do take action, they've thought about every possibility, and they've thought about it, and they've come up with usually the right solution. That's number 5, the thinker, or intellectual. The number 6 type is called the guardian. Guardians are the good soldiers. They're very, very loyal people. They're the people who, they don't trust you very much, but once they trust you, they'll go to the wall for you. They're very responsible and loyal. They always want to do the right thing. And they don't like to necessarily be in power, but they're attracted to people with power because they're the good people. They'll ask lots of questions about the newcomer. They'll watch for discrepancies. But once they pass their test, they're very loyal and honorable to those people. And they're the ones who kind of keep the ship floating, so that the king can go to sleep, so to speak. They're the guardians, right? So basically, what the guardian's personality type is that there's 2 guys, would be George Bush and Eminem would be 2 men, and Ellen DeGeneres and Marilyn Monroe would be 2 examples of women that are the guardians. So the guardian is personality type 6. So the optimist is the positive people. They're always looking for the bright side of life. This is number 7. And they are the people who are always looking for a new adventure, always looking to try something different, trying to live heaven on earth. They're always there to cheer you up. They usually have a smile on their face. They don't get down too much because they're off to doing something else, and they're going to try something else. And yeah, so life is sort of fun for them, and they are optimistic and entertaining. So another one is called the entertainer for number 7. So 2 examples of men who are optimists are Mick Jagger and Jake Johnston, and 2 examples of women who are optimists are Elizabeth Taylor and Barbra Streisand. So that is the optimist or the entertainer, which is type number 7. So the number 8 personality type is called the leader. So the leader, as it says, is sort of the one to take the lead, the one to take charge, a lot of times in work situations, but also just regular situations. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say. They're quick to talk. A lot of people can find them sort of domineering, and they can feel intimidated by them because of their presence, but they're very, very actually soft on the interior, and they can laugh easily too. So the leader's not afraid to break barriers, to go to places where other people aren't afraid to go. They're willing to take the lead, so to speak, and have their people who they're loyal to come with them, right? So people are really attracted to leaders, but they are the leaders. So a couple examples of a leader that's a man would be like Napoleon Bonaparte, big leader, and Theodore Roosevelt. Also, 2 examples of women that are leaders would be Indira Gandhi and Queen Latifah. So the number 8 personality type is the leader. The final type of personality is type number 9, which is called the peacemaker. Now the peacemakers are a little bit extra cool because they like to keep it cool. You see, basically the peacemakers are really approachable, and people like talking to them. So that they attract a lot of people, but they never take sides. They'll hear this person out, and they understand. And they hear this person out, and they understand that too. So they never really take sides. They don't like conflict, right? They like things to go nice and smooth, nice and easy going. They're actually usually tend to be a lot smarter than people let on, but they like to be seen as sort of humble and easygoing and hearing things out and not taking sides and seeing all the different shades of gray. They don't usually make a decision on what they're going to do, but once they make a decision, they're like an unstoppable elephant. So they're really, they really can go hard, but for the most part of the time, a peacemaker is just taking it easy, chilling out, and trying to make people get along well so that there's no conflicts, no problems, peace. So 2 examples of men who are peacemakers would be Mahatma Gandhi and Bill Clinton. And 2 examples of women that are peacemakers would be Grace Kelly and Queen Elizabeth II. Alright, so that's number 9, the peacemaker. There's a lot more to the Enneagram, and as you can see, basically these different lines and things will show you what's called wings. There's different wings, so people might be one type, but they might have a wing of one or the other. And then there's different ways that you want to head to and head away from, depending on what you're attracted to and what you're not, depending on what your personality type is. Now, what I found is that there's a lot of free online tests that you can take, or you can buy a book and take some of these tests to figure out what type of personality you are. My recommendation is that you be totally honest and give yourself a lot of time so that you can be, really introspective, kind of feel what kind of personality type you are. Now, they're not perfect, but they are good guides, and it's really good to do some self-introspection to see what kind of a personality type on this really old Enneagram is, and it just gives you a lot of really good insights. Some of you might want to know what kind of personality type I am. Well, I was actually a tie. I was the tie between a number 1, a perfectionist, and a number 3, an achiever. And when I took the wings into an account, I was a number 3 with a 4 wing. So I'm a tie between a perfectionist and an achiever with an artist wing. So that's my type of personality. What's yours? Don't forget to like the video below, subscribe to the channel up above. I do my videos on Wednesdays, and I hope you have a wonderful day.